Hey guys, this is Dade7117. Have a special treat for y'all today, whoever's watching. I have decided to start a series in which I'm going to detail some of my decks that I've built over the last year playing Pokemon. I've seen a few of these videos on YouTube, but none that really catch my eye. So I want to make a series that will be a little more detailed than some of the ones that I've seen and kind of explain custom decks. From the start of this, I want to go ahead and say that I'm not by any means an expert at playing Pokemon. The only time that I play is with my two boys and my wife, but I've played enough to be able to see how a custom deck should be constructed. So, with that in mind, some of the expert players that might be watching might not think this video is all that great, or that this series of videos won't be that great. And I welcome feedback as far as what would work better. Either Pokemon or supporters or trainers that I could take out of my deck that would make things run smoother or faster, or whatever the ultimate goal is. I will say that in each one of my videos that I do that talk about custom deck construction, I'll try to detail what my goal is in making that deck, so that it's kind of more concise as far as what the purpose of the deck is and what your ultimate goal is trying to play a deck like the one that I'm showing. So this is one of my favorite custom decks that I've built. I call it Shadow and Flame, named after the Balrog from Lord of the Rings, which is kind of nerdy, but I don't really care. What I have consists of 25 energy cards. The first 10 are shadow cards. Then I have 2 special darkness cards, special energy darkness, and what these do is if they're attached to a Pokemon, that Pokemon does 10 more damage, and that works out pretty well. I like having low-powered Pokemon, and then actually putting one of these on works really well. The second set of energy cards that I have is fire energy cards, and I have 8 of those, because some of the Pokemon that I'm using in this set require fire energy. I also have 5 fight energy cards, and that's because of the chain that I'm using. 2 of the Pokemon use fight energy, so kind of a little more diverse as far as the energy types go. I like to usually use only 2 types, just because it keeps your chances of pulling energy, or the correct energy that you need. It makes it a lot easier to pull the energy that you need. But since I am using a lot of colorless energy in this deck, it's okay that I have 3 different types of energy. Okay, my supporter cards. What I use is I use Flower Shop Lady. It's search your discard pile for 3 Pokemon and 3 basic energy cards. So that's really nice midway through the game or later through the game, when you've had maybe a couple of Pokemon knocked out. There's a lot of energy there that you can get, and a lot of basic Pokemon that you can restore to your deck. Okay. I also use Fisherman, which is search your discard pile for 4 basic energy cards. That comes in handy if you've had a major toon knocked out or a major Pokemon knocked out, and then you can recover your energy cards, and you can actually put them into your hand instead of into your deck. Then I use this one, Seeker, which returns one of your Pokemon, or I'm sorry, each player returns one of his or her benched Pokemon and all of its cards to his or her hand. So if you have a benched Pokemon that has a lot of damage counters on it, you can return it to your hand, get rid of those damage counters, and then return it to play your next turn. Okay, the next set is trainers. I actually have 5 trainers in this deck. My first one is Super Scoop Up, which I only have one of. Let me get these in order. I only have one of it. And it's flip a coin and return one of your Pokemon and all of its cards in your hand. That's just like the Seeker, except you have to flip a coin to do it. But it actually works good because you can take those damage markers off of, or those damage counters off of a Pokemon if it's almost filled up and you had to retreat it. I've got an Energy Search, which is always nice to have Energy Search. I've got an Energy Returner, which is also search your discard pile for 4 basic Pokemon, or 4 basic energy cards, and then put them into your deck. I have 2 of those. And then I have Mr. Stone's Project, which I wish I had more of this. It's search your deck for 2 basic energy cards, show them to your opponent, or search your discard pile for 2 basic energy, and then put them into your hand. So that's what I have as far as supporters and trainers go. Now moving on to my Pokemon, I have 3 Darkrai cards, which were promo cards. This one does 60 damage, and it has a chance of putting your Pokemon to sleep with a coin flip. Takes 2 darkness energy and 1 colorless energy, and I have 3 of them in my deck. Those are kind of filler, I would say. I'm actually working on finding 3 other basics that will work better, because this one is kind of it takes a lot of energy to pull off a 60 hit, which is not all that great. I think if I was playing Cresselia in this deck, it would be a little better, because my as you can see on there, it does 20 more damage, so that would be 80 damage. I'm thinking about maybe trying to put a couple of Cresselia cards in this deck, and that way I can benefit from that. My second Pokemon that I have in this deck is Spiritomb, and the reason that I have Spiritomb is for this attack, Darkness Grace, which you can search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon that's in play, and if you do that, you have to put 1 damage counter on him. But it's a good way of evolving Pokemon, especially if you're having a hard time finding the stage 1 or the stage 2 of a Pokemon that you have on your bench. Let's say you can't find stage 1, and this is a very easy way to find it by using that attack, and it doesn't take any energy, so that's really nice. Okay, my third Pokemon in here is Eevee, and I have 2 evolutions that come from Eevee, and that's why I have 4 Eevee cards. Eevee also has the search your deck for 2 cards that evolve from Eevee, so that's really nice. It doesn't cost any energy to do that. Eevee doesn't hit for much. On this one, it only hits for 20, which is okay, because whenever I put Eevee on my bench, I don't plan on bringing just Eevee up as my active Pokemon, or my Pokemon that's doing damage. I have 2 Umbreons that I use. Both of them do okay amounts of damage. That's good for a stage 1, and especially since these have kind of moderate normal HP on top. One of them's got 80 and one of them's got 90, so that works okay. Then I've got 2 Flareons that I use. They're different. I like this Flareon on the right because it does 90 damage, and all you have to do is discard an energy from Flareon. So if you actually stack energy on that, you could have 2 or 3 good hits in there, or I guess as many as you have energy for. You would have a good amount of hits that you could do in a row. I've actually used that a few times. It's worked out really good for me. On this one, I guess you can, let me see, it's got a Poke Power. Once during your turn, you can develop Flareon and put Flareon into your hand. I'm not sure what good that is yet, but I'm going to look into it a little bit. In the meantime, I'll move on to my next one. This is my Charizard set. I like using this because you can do a massive amount of damage. It takes a lot of energy, but you can do a massive amount of damage. What I usually do is, if I can help it, I will put Charizard on my bench, build him up to 50, go ahead and bring him up, and in the meantime, while I'm doing damage with that 50, I'll be sliding energy cards under him, and then hit it with Charizard G level X here, which does 150 damage. The sad part about this is you have to flip a coin, and if you get tails, you have to discard all that energy. So kind of stinks, but if you wind up getting heads, it's really nice because you can have a couple of times when you can hit for 150. And when you're going against a big Pokemon with a lot of HP, that's invaluable. So my last and final heavy hitter in this deck is Tyranitar. And what I do is I use 4 Larvitar cards to set him up with. This one's kind of nice because it has a function for removing damage counters, and it also has a good hit for a basic with just colorless energy. And it's nice using one of these darkness energy cards, the special darkness energy cards, because then it'll do another 10 on top of that with just 1 colorless energy. It does 10 damage to itself, but then you can use Mountain Eater to remove those damage counters. Pupitar, the only reason I have fight energy in my deck is because of Pupitar. If I wind up stuck on his stage 2, I can hopefully pull one of those fight energies out, put it on here, and I'm doing 50 damage. I'm going to have to hurry this along because I'm almost on my allotted 15-minute. I'm almost to, I think I'm on 13 minutes right now, but these are my 2 Tyranitar cards that I use. This one, Spinning Tail, does 30 damage to each of your opponent's Pokemon, which is really cool. If they've got a loaded up bench full of basics, those are going to go down in like maybe 2 rounds. That's nice. The sad part about it is it takes 5 darkness energy, so it takes a while to build that up. This other one is Hyper Beam, and it does a good amount of damage, and you get to discard one of your opponent's defending, or you get to, let me see, discard an energy from them, which is really nice. Okay, I'm at the end of my time, so I'm going to go ahead and call it quits. Let me know, guys, if you think there's anything I can do to improve on my deck. We'll see how this goes, how everybody likes these videos, and I'll try to do another one. Thank you. Bye-bye.